Welcome to a whole new world of interesting, unique and amazing people. We all have a disability of some description. Disability in its most basic term means without ability. And there is always someone somewhere, probably the person standing right beside you, who will have a disability of some sort. It's what makes us unique and different and very interesting people. Hi, I'm Jen. I work at Grampians Community Health as a program leader. I have been with Grampians Community Health for probably 8 odd years, and I've had several positions over that time. I am profoundly deaf. I have what's known as bilateral cochlear implants, so I have a cochlear implant in each ear. It was common when I first got my implants around 2010, 2012, that we would name them. So I actually have Cliff in my left ear and Richard in my right ear. And for those that are old enough to understand, I'm wired for sound. I suddenly lost my hearing around 2005. At the time, I was working part-time as a nurse and I was studying at university. Within 2 years, I'd gone from hearing normally to being basically stone deaf. I could hear noise, but there was no structure to any sound, so therefore I was not able to understand speech. I was not necessarily able to understand environmental sounds that were occurring around me. This sent me into probably a very deep depression. I became suicidal at the time, as I had been told nothing could be done to improve my hearing due to the type of hearing loss I had. I lost who I was. The labels that I had worn until that time were no longer relevant. I was no longer a nurse. I was no longer a student. Although I was still a mother and a wife, I was not necessarily able to function in those roles. So I had lost, for me, those labels as well. And I was very lucky at that time to get my first hearings dog from Lions Hearing Dogs Australia, which was Toby. And he's now crossed the lovely Rainbow Bridge, but I have him with me all the time in a locket. And I've recently, in the last 2 years, received my second hearing dog, Alex, who is in her usual position, asleep in the chair near me. So many people, when we're out and about in the community, will actually ask what a hearing dog does. The dog's primary workplace is in the home, where they will notify their owners of a sound. That sound may be a whistling kettle, a doorbell, a phone ringing, an alarm clock, which they really enjoy working first thing in the morning. They also have the ability to work to what's called a go-get command, where if you have a fall, you can actually send the dog to signify that assistance is required from somebody else. Since having my first dogs, I have had the confidence to return to study, which led to interviews with Grampians Community Health, who were incredibly open and accepting of my first dog, Toby, and eventually employment, and I've been here ever since. Alex has been coming into work pretty well every day since I've had her. Alex has also been a bonus when I was working with clients. She was able to identify clients that were in need of a little bit of extra support, and she would often go and sit by their feet and they would just put a hand on her head, or similar to what I'm doing here with her. So that has been a very big bonus to be able to have that contact, I guess, with another living thing, especially at the moment with COVID and having to wear the masks. It is incredibly difficult for hearing impaired or deaf people to hear in a noisy environment. Most of us, without even realising it, back up what we hear with lip reading, and unfortunately masks do take away that option of backing up. Speak slower. It's not about yelling at people who are deaf or hearing impaired. We don't lose volume. What we actually lose are certain sounds of a word. Therefore, we actually have to decipher what's being said to make an understandable sentence. Many of us have hearing loss. Be a little bit nice, be a little bit gentle with each other, and understanding if someone keeps asking you to repeat yourself.